Good afternoon. It is April 28th, 2025. We're listening to a little column A, little column B, hosted by Will Lemos and co-hosted by Zach Bishop. How are you doing today, buddy?
What is going on, Will? We are knee-deep into the NBA playoffs, and I am already fed up with the Orlando Magic.
What?
They claim to be a basketball team, but it's super ugly basketball that they played. That was known going in. I did not realize that their whole plan was just going to be, let's see how many Celtics we can injure. Game 1, knock Tatum out of the air. He hurts his wrist. He misses the next game. I won't even blame the Drew injury on them. He's got a hamstring injury. He's been out since Game 1. Game 2, we got Gogo. He just can't keep his hands to himself. I don't think it was malicious, but still, boom. Can't keep his elbows where they're supposed to be. Cracks Porzingis right in the face, right in the forehead. He starts bleeding immediately. There's blood everywhere, and he goes to the back and gets cleaned up just enough so he can take the free throw. He's got a huge bandage. He's got to get stitches. All right, now Game 3 shows up. Jaylen Brown was questionable coming into the game. They dislocate his finger. Yesterday was finally the first game that they didn't almost severely injure one of our players. Are you as upset as I am?
No, nobody is. Nobody's even acknowledging this. I had a whole rundown of this. I think this was on like the 4th page of like the 6 games I got going on. It's a physical series. You're either going to argue that we're fragile or that they're aggressive. I think this is just a playoff series. This isn't anything abnormal, if you ask me. I think this is just some bad luck. There's a couple of games where they probably could have had a chance to win and they didn't win, and I feel like we could always close it out. We completely blow Game 3. We have 11 points in the third quarter. You're not gonna, you shouldn't beat a team that game. The fact that we almost won that game adds up to how unimpressive Orlando actually is. They're capable of kind of defending us very aggressively and physical, as you've mentioned all this. Do you think there's any other team that can kind of follow this formula? Because it seems to be slowing us down. Orlando can't score. If we just score, this isn't even like a series. This is a sweep. This is over. So they're slowing us down some way. Do you think anyone else can do that?
The Rockets? I think they're known for being physical, but they're not looking so good right now.
Doesn't look like we'll be facing them anytime soon.
This is exactly why when we talked about this going in of the play-in teams, which one did you want to play? And this is why I had Orlando as the least of. I wasn't concerned about getting past them, but I was concerned that they were going to play a super physical brand of basketball that was going to wear us down. I did not think it was going to be this level that legitimately guys are missing games. I'm still surprised that Porzingis doesn't have a concussion or something, but he hasn't quite been himself, and I don't know if that's the Magic's play or hey, I have a huge cut that required stitches on my forehead. So yeah, this is why this is my concern of going forward. There's just more miles put on than I would have liked.
For sure, it's frustrating with the Celtics that they just can't finish games. I feel like we take quarters off, and this would have been a wrap if we just take care of that third quarter. Do we want to give any credit to Paulo Franz?
Disaster of a third quarter. Turnovers galore in that whole game. I think the Magic, it was something like 26-8 on points off of turnovers. That just can't happen. We were, I think, the best team in the league, or if not the best, one of the best at not turning the ball over. So this is unusual for us. We are missing one of our premier ball handlers. But even there, down the stretch, still absolutely had a chance to win that game. We're right knocking on the door. And one of the most crucial parts of the game, I think the Magic got lucky that the miss goes so far out that by the time we grab it, there's only tenths of a second left. That game takes close to 3 hours. It was the Celtics' longest game of the entire season, including overtime games. This game did not go into overtime. It was really close. We can't review how much time is on the clock. I feel like we're reviewing everything.
I guess this is why we have a podcast, so we can complain about every little thing that doesn't go the Celtics' way in a series that they have complete control over. What are we doing here? We have real games, real series going on that are way more interesting than this stuff. This is small potatoes. Why are we giving Orlando this highlight, this spotlight at all? It's been a weird officiated game. It seems like if you're driving and there's contact, there's no way you're getting a whistle. But if there's contact any other way, like I don't know, 90 feet away from the basket, we're getting a whistle. That's what I'm a little frustrated by, where we have almost overcalculated the James Harden forced fouls, where they don't give those anymore, and we're all right with that. But then the only fouls they do give are like way less aggressive and way ticky-tacky and don't add up to what the drive physicality has been this entire series. Is that going to continue? Because that's kind of a problem for the Celtics.
No, I think this is going to be the most physical series that we deal with, and going forward, it's going to be much more basketball and who is the better basketball team.
I'm still impressed with Paulo and Franz, though. I don't think we've. I mean, I think we've made an effort to slow them down, but we just haven't. They've had good games every game. If they had any shooters at all, I mean, if Caldwell Pope, he's going to make 10 threes one of these games, maybe even the next game. He's made nothing. I mean, literally missed almost every single shot you possibly can. A complete disappointment. If he shows up at all, I think this is a completely different team. They're clearly missing Suggs. We said that last week of just this search for a guard that's both physical and can kind of score. It's either one or the other with whatever kind of direction they go with. But this is a good team that we're still taking care of. Like, we're not going to lose this series. Are you worried that Boston's going to lose this series?
No.
All right, then should we maybe move into some of the series where both teams are a little worried? Because this one seems kind of like a wrap here. And yes, so you can have the outrage of the 0.3 seconds. I don't understand why we have every stop at every single game here, but this is the way it played out, and we're just gonna have to move on. There's other games that played out where they admitted they did a mistake, and does that make you feel better?
It never does.
So I don't know. I guess you could vent, and that's the whole point of the podcast here. And do you feel a little bit better now? Like, is it out there?
Yes, I do. Yes, it's all bottled up, and yeah, the win yesterday was nice. It was a close game, and when it really came to someone's got to make something happen, Tatum made it happen and won us that game. Loved what Al was doing. 38 years old, he's got 5 blocks. That's incredible.
So some real blocks, like a highlight block for one of them. One of them is just volleyball.
Just volleyball spike that thing.
Yeah, right into the crowd. Love Al. All right, let's talk some other. Anything else? Anyone milk anything else out of this one?
Milk anything else out? Yes, would like to talk about the team that I like the most. Yes, yeah, okay. No, I think I got that out of my system.
Well, maybe everyone's going to listen to just that and they'll stop now. But sometimes I worry that they don't like that section and they like everything else. They don't want to hear the Homer talk. You think they're tuning in just for Celtics?
That's why I'm tuning in.
All right. Well, there's the first 8 minutes there. Do you want me to just mark a next episode from here on? This is the rest of the playoffs, where there has been some clutch performances, some wild endings, some bold coaching decisions. I think we should start with the coaching decision that I think was the wildest one. And I'm going to ask you if it was good coaching or not, where J.J. Redick, your Duke alumni here, played the entire starters, the 5 best guys, the entire second half. They don't play anyone else. They play 5 guys the entire half. It's not enough. They still lose. It's a complete last-ditch effort of, I'm playing these 5 guys and I'm going down with this. And when that doesn't work, what do you try next? So I ask you, is this good coaching?
This is using what you have to do. I'm going to have to hit you with a actually, is Jackson Hayes started, but only played 4 minutes. It was Dorian Finney-Smith who came off the bench who played the entire second half. I mean, I've heard of trying to tighten up the rotation, but I've never heard of, we're just going to get rid of the rotation. I mean, I want to clown on it and go, how can you not have like any rotation? But I mean, you look at the guys coming off the bench and nothing really jumps out as, well, probably should have put him in, but there's got to be at some level that, one of these guys off the bench, Jared Vanderbilt at 100% is better than Rui Hachimura 60% because he's played the entire second half. Unreal. I mean, I've seen all the funniest memes of, the headline of this, and then it's just a picture of Tibbs smiling.
Yeah. It's the role model, Thibodeau. He's never had the balls to just go strictly to 5. I mean, this is eliminating an entire rotation. They got a good Rui game, though. They got a good Reeves game. The 5 guys that played, they got good games out of, and it still wasn't enough, though. They're clearly a couple pieces short, and I don't know what they're going to do next game. Do you think they're going to go all out again? Or are they going to play somebody else? And if they do, is that almost like surrendering to this strategy? Like, should there be a complete commitment that we're already all in on this and that we aren't turning back now? We're like, maybe these guys play 48 minutes next game.
I mean, they're going to have to, they might. And I almost feel like this was a closeout game strategy of, okay, yep, are we playing these guys too many minutes? Probably, but if we lose this game, it's over. So they almost just brought it in one. So if they did this in a non-elimination game, the next game, it's at home, but it isn't an elimination game. I could see them doing it again.
I think that's what's most exciting about all of the playoff series. I know that we got a lot of 3-1, games. The series aren't 2-2s, and We want it to go 7, but I'd almost rather have the 3-1 counts that we have right now with the games we got out of them than I blow you out, you blow me out, you blow me out, blah, 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 back and forth, and then we end up with 7 games. I've been really entertained by the first 4 games of all of these series, and I wouldn't trade them for a game 7, is what I'm saying. Would you?
Well, specifically this one, because I don't, the Lakers got a very tall hill. But if you're going to look at one of these teams that's down 3-1 to say, I don't know, stuff could happen. Huge LeBron game, huge Luka game, huge combined game. The Wolves got upset last year, and they're more seasoned than some of the other younger teams, but this is still a team on the younger side.
I'm really into this almost football commitment of it's just this one game. I'm not worried about tomorrow. I'm not worried about this big picture. It's the next whatever half. It's the next 24 minutes. That's it. Like I'm all in on that. I love that. I love the competitive nature of all this. I just think we've gotten some really, really good series. You got anything else from the Lakers? I mean, I could shout out Ant's that guy. He's been great. Minnesota, I just think they're younger, taller, bigger. We kind of talked about that last week. Is there anything we didn't really say last week that they've changed or started doing this week? I mean, Ant's not going to shut up. I think that's just going to always be a thing. But what else we got to say about Minnesota that is now up 3-1 against the Lakers, going back to LA for potentially 2 more games?
I think it's just impressive that they stuck with it and didn't let like the Lakers off the hook, where you just you take game 1, but then sometimes you let that slide. But nope, they've stayed laser focused. I mean, Ant has just been he's been incredible. I was surprised right at the end when he fell. They did the review and they reviewed it and called a foul on LeBron. I mean, it was a foul, but I just thought LeBron, this moment could, the series could be 2-2 and now it's 3-1. Just all of the conspiracy theories, and nope, they followed through. I was driving home during this game yesterday, and I was just listening to it, and I had to pull over to watch like the last 2 minutes because it was just so tight. And Naz Reid hits that big 3, and as a Celtics fan, I was happy that Timberwolves have got the Lakers just on the mat right now.
I want to see more of the game. That was the only bummer of it. Was like, yeah, great ending, awesome game. I just want to see more of these games. And now that it's 3-1, we're in jeopardy of seeing that. Does it seem like the Wolves got this locked up now? Like, you're already against the Lakers, so I suppose this is a biased question, but do the Lakers have any chance here? Like, would you expect this to go 7? Would you be shocked if it goes 7?
I'd be surprised if it went 7, but I wouldn't be shocked. LeBron's been in this situation before. Luka, generational talent, don't have a ton of support around them, so you just wonder if they just absolutely run out of gas. But like I said before, out of all the teams that are down 3-1, this is the one where there's a actual possibility that this could happen.
Well, there's been some fun endings in that game, but I don't think anything quite compares to the ending of the Denver Clippers game. We have an incredible comeback with Kawhi just taking the ball a few times and a just exhilarating conclusion of a Jokic air ball that is timed so perfectly by a put-back dunk by Aaron Gordon at the buzzer. It couldn't have been any closer to the buzzer. I mean, this thing leaves his hands and is barely through the cylinder. Ball game Denver, 2-2 series. Who's got the advantage in this one? I've gone back and forth between being like, it looks like the Clippers are just a superior team and Denver doesn't have the depth, but which way are you going on this one?
Clippers, I mean, in the games that they've lost, it just one went to overtime and one was this situation. And in the game 1, it was the positive wildness of Russell Westbrook helped them. And now Westbrook has, is hurt. So he's been in and out, and just seems like if this wasn't the Clippers, like the series is a sweep and it's over. But because it's the Clippers, it's just, they have these demons, and I just like, they should be up more, and they're for sure kicking themselves because you're going against Joker, and you're never sure, or you're never sure. Like, he's gonna bring it, and like, do you get tripped up somewhere else down the way? And you're going back just looking, saying, "How did we lose this? We were in control." We were just talking about it, and we've been complaining all spring. Winter about reviews. This is where we needed a review, and I can't think of the last time that I saw a review and I had no idea. I saw it. I saw when the light went off. I trying to see where the hands were and not being sure of, are his fingers still on the ball? Like, I don't know. I've never seen anything like that.
An important part of all this is that it was ruled good basket live on the floor. If it's ruled the other way, I don't think there's enough to overturn this either.
I think you're right.
That's how close it was. Where if it's ruled it's leaned that heavily on what it was initially called. I thought that was a bold move though to say this is going to be just good. But I guess if you say it's good, then you know you're going to review it. It's almost like you say the touchdown's good because you know you get to do the review after. This was a wild game where the Clippers had this game. We're in complete control. If that doesn't go in and they go into overtime, there's no way the Clippers lose this game. Like Denver was holding on by a thread for the last 5 minutes. I don't think they score until that Gordon dunk for like the last 2:40 of this game. I'm still worried about. Every time I worry about
it was a tight game at the. It was a tight game at the half, and then it was almost like they switched, where Denver came out in the third quarter, jumped all over them, and then like you said, it was almost like they were just trying to hold on, and Jokic is running out of gas, and they ended up winning, but it shouldn't have been this desperation at the end, and something that kind of mentioned, Jokic takes that fadeaway shot. It's an air ball. Like, it wasn't even close. I mean, it turns out it was good because if he had hit the rim, then this is going to overtime, and who knows what happens there. And it actually worked out that it was air ball long. But if Aaron Gordon doesn't dunk that, now you're looking at it going, Jokic couldn't hit the clutch shot.
He did so much in that game, and that I'm not even going to argue what you're saying because there's a good argument for it. It's not a great look for being the best player in the league. That's, you'd hope you get a little bit better of a look than that. I agree with all of that, but the way Jokic is carrying this team, and the more I look at all the supporting cast, and the more blown open, amazing opportunities by Christian Brown and name other nugget open in the corner, like it's amazing that this is 2-2. I think the Clippers have an advantage almost everywhere but Jokic, and it's still 2-2. Like, I thought this series was last week.
Can I give Steve Ballmer and the Clippers some credit here?
Yeah, well, yeah, this is a good time. Yeah, do that.
Yeah, the wall works. I know when it was announced, I left it open a little bit, but kind of was like, all right, this is pro, this isn't college. Like, how are you going to make this work? And they've actually gone through some ideas where, we discussed it, how you have to wait in line ahead of time. You get to come in, a little bit earlier, but for these games at home, doing special things with the wall where they had, little like horse puppet things, try to distract Jokic. It's a little bit gimmicky, but I like it. This is basketball focused. It's not, hey, how can we make the most amount of money and get as many corporate sponsors in the boxes of guys that don't care about basketball. You have fans that really want to see this team win. And I think that it's good. I think this is a good direction for it to go in of, hey, what can we do to try to help our team win? And I think there's been a direct cause of that where I saw it came out that when opposing teams are shooting at that hoop where the wall is, it is the worst percentage in the league. So it's having an actual impact on basketball games, and I think that's cool.
All right, well, just say what you really want then. Just say it. It's okay. We get a new owner in Boston here. Just say it. It's all right. Just let it be known. What do you want, Zach?
I want it to be basketball focused.
No. You want the Celtics to build a wall. I want a gimmick like that. You don't want this? I would love this.
They already did the wall. No, but I think it would be cool if we had something similar.
Yeah, well, it's not going to be called the wall. It'll be called the Green Monster. It'll be called, that. Does that not work? Did I just solve it all?
I think, like I said, no, like the wall is already that's already been taken. But if there's some sort of situation or some sort of section that is for like the diehard fans, and it's almost like the bleacher creatures at Yankee Stadium. Like, there's a certain area, you know what to expect. Like, this is where like the fans are getting rowdy. This is where people have been pre-gaming maybe a little bit harder than other places.
Well, what I most love about it is, like you said, it adds to the game. This isn't like a museum that you do, I don't know, maybe before the game, or I guess if the game sucks during the game. you're still at the game, and it's enhancing the game. It's not just like, and it's a fan experience that benefits being at the game, not just like going to like an amusement park, museum, or the pools, or the private club, or whatever food stuff underneath at the halftime show. Like there's
It's for the people that actually like basketball,
yeah.
not for the how can we get people that don't really like basketball to come to the game to spend money.
All right, we got to move on to another game. Let's do Detroit, New York. Another series that is 3-1, but does it not feel like Detroit could have won every single one of those games? Like this could be the other way around. This could be 2-2. This could be 4-0. This could be over. If Detroit could close out any of the games, this could be over. There's a bit of a controversial ending here, and I say that lightly because it's already been acknowledged that they got the call wrong, that Josh Hart did foul him in the corner, and that this probably should have had a different outcome and probably should be a 2-2 series. I don't want to say I don't care, but like the whole correction after, I don't know if I like that or not. Do you want to know that, or do you want to just move on to the next day, or do you like the open endedness of like we're acknowledging we made a mistake? We can't do anything about it, but we can acknowledge it. Like that's is this accountability better for us?
I mean, we've talked about this for a while. Of like, what is this exactly for? It's only the last 2 minutes. So, I mean, there's other calls throughout the game. It's when it's somebody else's team, I think it's fine because then it's just you're watching the game and you think you see something. And so then later on, you can go and look at the 2-minute report and go, oh, okay, no, I did see that correctly. And it should have been called this way. Or the reverse of, oh, I didn't know that rule. I didn't know that in the last 2 minutes of the game or on a steal or on a jump ball that you're allowed to get the ball, go into the backcourt. You have to like establish positive direction, almost like it sounds more of like a football call. I didn't know that was a rule. Now I know. Okay, like that makes sense.
Always nice to learn the rules in the NBA. It is just a little head scratching where we have every challenge, every review, every possibility to try to correct these things and not end it like this, and for it to still end like this, it just feels like you're giving me all these services for the reviews and all that. There's no benefit to when I really need it. Like that's the only
reason that
I don't like that.
I'm not bent out of shape about this one specifically is Cade got to a spot pretty much like for him, wide open elbow jumper, Pierce's bread and butter, and he missed it. So then afterwards, that is just like more of a Hail Mary where that was, you got to hit that shot. That's the shot to hit. Take the lead. There would have been a little bit of time. You got to play defense. But I think this is more, this shouldn't be so much of the Pistons could have won these games as the Knicks have been in these series and Brunson is able to make this difference and is like, a clutch player and is able to like eke these things out. I was actually surprised at how well, Cat played down the stretch. He's had a litany of playoff issues. So for him to be able to say, hey, I'm the guy, I'm going to take care of this. But yeah, it's got to be tough if you're a Pistons fan, seeing the replay. And in the past 2 games, you lose both of them by a combined 3 points. Just tough.
I think Cat's played well all series. I'm not going to pick on him. And they don't give him the ball, he's not going to be able to score. So that one game, he didn't do much in the second half. He didn't touch the ball in the second half. So I'm not going to do that. I wonder if the Knicks, has this identity changed too much? I mean, this feels like too much Brunson, and not like, I guess, not in a bad way. I just don't think this team's full potential is we're going into the isolation of Brunson too early. The closing out of Brunson's fine. I don't have any problem with that. I think that's what every other team in the league almost wishes they did have. But are we losing the Knicks' identity a little too much? Because there are games where we don't see much from Bridges, we don't see much from Cat, and we still see capabilities of them in flashes like this. But I don't know. Is it too much Brunson? I think we're doing too much of this.
I think he's just used to it from last year, where just injury after injury after injury, it's just like more and more of the load was on him. Of like, okay, all right, I'll shoot more, I'll do more, all the things. But I think that what happened in game 2 when the Knicks lost, where Cat didn't get a shot off for all of the fourth quarter, and it was like midway through the third. It's partially him, probably more on Tibbs of just being aware, or maybe the assistants, and to just like point out, like, hey, this guy that you traded for, and he was really good, who we've seen through all the other games. Yeah, maybe get him a touch. Maybe it doesn't lead to a shot, but at least force the defense to to guard this.
Cat had an incredible step back. That was just ridiculous. It's so deep. He does it so fast. It's an incredible step back. But I think we're leaning on Brunson a little too much. Detroit, though, you got to be happy. I think you still got to be happy with everything. I know the series is like a lot of regrets, a lot of what ifs, a lot of we could do this over again sort of stuff. But I think if I'm Detroit, this is great, right? Like this is awesome. I mean, Cade's had chances to close out these games. I think it's been really good experience. I think next year when it's like, well, they don't know how to close out games, you'll at least be able to point, well, at least they had some experience trying and learning and maybe gaining something from all this. This is such a young team. I'm impressed by Detroit. I don't know what the ceiling is next year. I don't know what the changes are going to be. I think this next kind of couple of this next injury in the next series in the Bucks Pacers here, where I think there's just like almost a tectonic shift in the NBA with this Dame injury, where things are just never going to be the same again. The Milwaukee era, the window just closed, and Giannis might have just walked out of the door with this one injury. I can't believe it happened. Right, like this is not even the same Achilles to Dame. Were you shocked to find out it was the other one and not the one that had the blood clot?
No, I wasn't surprised. As soon as you saw it on TV of non-contact injury, reaches for it, just sits there, doesn't even try to get up. And then once he's helped up, no weight on it. I mean, we've seen these before, and it just immediately like, this is not good. And I mean, it was the last podcast we were just talking about how sweet, he's recovered from the blood clots. He's actually going to play. Like that was surprising.
I just thought Giannis could carry such a workload, and it was like, well, if they had Dame out there, like even if it was like, dude, just get us a three at the end here, or get some free throws, or bring the ball up a little bit for me. Even if he couldn't be Dame, he could at least just be somebody to trust out there and really give Milwaukee a chance, because Giannis is just going to do so much for the team, and he's still doing a lot. It's just they're not better than this Indiana team. They're just not. The only thing they're better at is Giannis is the only advantage they have. But Indiana's fast. Indiana's like young. They're physical. They have some guys that could shoot. They have some like defensive specialists. This is a pretty good Indiana team, and I just wonder, are we almost underrating them with some of the success they had last year? I think
that's what I was about to say. Like you're saying it like it's a surprise, but I mean, this was a successful team last year.
Yeah, I felt like a fluke last year. It felt like that Atlanta time where the Atlanta was in the conference finals somehow, and it was like, oh yeah, well this is like a real team. This is they're a couple games from the finals. And it's like, nah, some injuries went certain ways and didn't really line up, and I didn't really love the route there. But I guess this year, I guess I got to buy into what Indiana's doing. I mean, they're destroying this Bucks team. I don't think they have any chance, and I really do think that this is it for Giannis. I don't know what more you could do. I don't think any creativity in the world can fix what they have going on. And we would just be doing a disservice of keeping Giannis in Milwaukee at this point. And that's I can't think of any meaner thing to say, but that's what needs to happen. There's no way out of this, is there? Like I don't see it.
I think your only hope if you are the Bucks is to show Giannis, hey, here are the packages that we're like being offered for you, and to go through individually and show him you can leave here, but you are going to cost so much from that other team that it is not going to be a better situation than the one you're in right now. I think that's the only option.
Yeah. I'm not going to say this is it for Dame, but is there any chance this might be it for Dame?
This is like for his career or for the Bucks?
Just retire. Between the blood clot in the one leg, the torn Achilles in the other, the not being young anymore, not being the biggest guy in the world. I don't know. This has been a tough. This sucks. Like this is going to be awful. I know you don't want to go out like this, but I don't know. It's going to take a lot to get back up on that horse, I guess.
All right. So I'm thinking he got injured, during the playoffs, in April. Achilles injuries take a while. He's for sure out next year. Like that's just, he's done. I was just checking his contract because if you have a $50+ million payday coming and all you have to do is not retire, I think you're going to stick around. But, maybe you're right. He's 34. He's got the player option for next year. So actually, no, I'm mistaken. For this year coming up, he is under contract. He has a player contract for the following year. He is for sure coming back.
Yep.
$58 million. He's gonna give it the old college try.
All right. I guess we'll give it a go. We'll see. We'll see what we got there. I don't know. That's not a fun situation. I guess we could be
The
excited.
only thing I could think of is if the Bucks like try a buyout.
Yeah. I mean, what is it depends. I guess what Milwaukee's going to be. I guess if Giannis is still on this team, they're very much a playoff team. I think, regardless, it won't be like a championship contender, but if they
Talk about Miami dodging a bullet.
maybe it seemed to benefit us a little bit, didn't it? Like this changed the Drew trade for us.
Oh, big time! Yeah, they weren't trading Drew Holiday to us.
No, I don't
Scooped
think
him up real fast. Although Drew's hurt right now, so I feel like there's not a ton being talked about there.
I feel like we're missing like 3 rebounds from him, and we just can't find it from anybody. That's all we're doing. All right, let's talk Rockets Warriors. Another 2-1 series here. No Jimmy Butler. We get Kuminga back. We have like these alternating games between Jalen Green being great and Fred VanVleet being great and never being great together. I don't know if they're too young, they have too many players, or what's the real situation with Houston here. It's a lot of good, but it doesn't look good together. And Steph Curry's just like a god. I don't know other way to say it. Like this is just miracles being pulled off here, and we should all bow down to him and acknowledge just the greatness that continues to happen where there's no way this team should win. This team should be able to stop the Warriors and Steph Curry, and they can't. Jimmy or not, Kuminga or not, doesn't matter. This still feels like it's still a potential if Jimmy's going to be limping the rest of the way through this series, where the Rockets could easily crawl back into this. But I'm leaning towards the Warriors. It doesn't seem like there's any way they're going to stop Curry. Is this still kind of a series, or is this thing a wrap?
I think there's still some interesting things that can happen here. I don't think it's so much on stopping Curry, so much as they have to score. Game 1, 85. Game 2 that they win, 109. Game 3 that they lose, 93. It's 2025 in the NBA. You just have to score over 100 points to expect to win. I mean, there's rarities here and there, but it's got to be over 100. And I get they have Defensive Player of the Year finalist Draymond Green, but I mean, they're running into all of the issues that was all talked about before the playoffs started. Of Draymond Green's going to try to get into their head, and they're too young, and they're not going to be ready for the moment. And that's kind of what seems like it's happening.
I don't know. I want to complain about the rotation in Houston, but it's like just play the other young guy. Like there's not a proven record, and then they play the proven guys, and it's like, well, I don't know. I don't know if we're
Have you thought about going the other way? Jeff Green's over there.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. I don't know if we're really getting the best things out of that either. And there's a lot of Steven Adams stuff here and there. It just, I don't know if we're doing. I don't know if I feel like there's a regret regardless of the direction they go, and maybe that's just how the team's constructed right now. But next year, I don't want to have this back and forth. I feel like we kind of have 2 teams within this one. We got to pick one or the other. All right, these old guys, they got to go, and these young guys, they either going to start playing better or they're going to play other younger guys. Because this guy's not even cracking this rotation. I mean, who knows that rookie? Who knows how good he is? Like, what if there's just a gem over there, and we're still playing and paying Fred VanVleet all of this money and all of these minutes? I think we've graduated over the Fred part. Is all I'm saying. If I'm taking anything away from this series,
you don't want Fred VanVleet playing.
I don't. No, I don't. I've seen the Fred show. All right, there's the ceiling's gone.
Who would you prefer?
I'd rather Jalen Green have the games where he figures it out, and the games that he doesn't, we just find someone else to do it, because we can't just have Fred come plug in all this time. It doesn't enhance this team any farther. It's taking away from the lessons and the learning that the other young guys need. Is all I'm taking away from it.
Well, they're for sure learning a lesson.
Yeah. Don't do that to Curry. Don't call him out. Don't talk to him. I like the Ant thing, talking to LeBron too much. Like I think that's going to come back and bite him at some point too. Like Luka hears everything.
But Ant's at a higher level than any of these young guys on the Rockets.
They don't think that way. It's the same thought process as Ant,
but different. It's different. Ant played with him the Olympic team, and Ant is like at that level. All these guys in the future, some of these Rockets guys could be, but not right now.
All right, so we both got the Warriors in this one?
Yeah. Rumor is Jimmy Butler's going to play tonight. Or is that tomorrow?
I think it's tonight. No, I think they're tonight.
Yeah. Rumors he's going to play tonight. He was the second. We already talked about Dame. He was second of the three big injuries. It was a weird like bowling pin situation of one guy got hit into Draymond, and Draymond hit into what was it? Was it Jalen Green? And then Jalen Green hit into Butler. But oh man, did he fall hard? Just on his back, just wasn't able to cushion his fall, and just seemed very painful.
Yeah, there's been some physicality, right? Some guys are gonna fall. It's gonna happen. All right, let's do a little nitpicking and go through all the teams here and see if our picks are gonna change at all here. All right, we got Lakers, Timberwolves 1-3. Who you got?
Timberwolves.
Yeah, I think I do too. I've seen enough. It's Boston, Orlando 3-1. Who you got?
Boston.
Denver Clippers 2-2. Who you got?
I'm hesitating. I'm gonna stick with Joker. I think
Really?
the Clippers have been better, but I just best guy on the court. I'm gonna stick with it, and just also it's silly, but Clippers history of they're going to lose, and you're gonna look back and go, they only lost an overtime game, buzzer beating dunk, and there'll be something else crazy, and just like how did we lose this series? And like the aggregate score was 15 points in our favor.
I just don't think Denver's got the depth. I still like what the Clippers are able to do. And you're so right. There's going to be a Kawhi injury, or Harden is going to just lay an egg in the fourth and be like,
all of a sudden,
yeah,
it's like, how does he only have 6 points? And just like, well, that's the Clippers.
I would love to see a hack of Simmons. I don't know what they're doing in there. I don't know how
he's only playing. He only played single digits last game. I don't even think that's available.
Dude, he's like a wild animal on defense, though. What is he doing out there? These arms are just like flailing out there.
He's not. He's not. There's no impact there. If his name wasn't Ben Simmons, we wouldn't even be talking about him.
All right, Knicks Detroit 3-1. Who you got?
Knicks.
Yeah, no. I would love to see that one go 7. Just see him sweat it out. All right, and then the only series we didn't talk about is the only one that Ja wants to talk about. He had him. Did you know that? He had him right where you had him, wherever we want him. 4-0, clean sweep. Ja's injured. That part sucks, but why do we got to put a microphone in this guy? Right? He should be on the beach with the sunglasses on in Cancun. I don't need to be hearing nothing from nobody about this season when you've already been eliminated. Is there any more to add to this? Just complete ass whooping. And by the way, this is not the team's so much better than them, and the Grizzlies' windows feels like it's completely shut right now. I'm tired of hearing from Morant, and I'm going to lay on him a little bit right now. Is that justified?
I don't think it's justified.
Oh, really?
In Game 3, they come out firing on all cylinders. When Ja gets hurt, they're up. It was on a 2-on-1 fast break. We're about to score again, and was going to be up by near 30 points. Like, this was okay. No, we're here. We mean business. What happened? We were embarrassed in OKC, and that was because we were tired because of the play-in game. But hey, we're not about a team that's just about to roll over. And then even in Game 4 without Ja, it's like that was a close game. And I get it. You don't want to hear from Ja when he lost, but it's not like it's not Ja's fault where he gets hurt. Freak sort of accident, wasn't on purpose or anything. All similar to the Jimmy Butler situation, looked very painful. But he's the star of the team. They're going to ask him those questions. So like, what do you want him to do? What do you want him to say? He's like, he has to answer them. He's the star. He's the face of the franchise. Those are the questions you have to answer. It's like it's not his fault that he gets asked those questions.
All right, you're right. It is take the bait sort of a thing right now, where there's nothing else we're going to ask for him again. It's a closeout meeting. I get it. It just seemed wildly disrespectful to the Thunder, who just sent these guys home. And I didn't say they got to bow down and kiss the ring or anything here, but I don't know. Maybe win a game and then you could talk. This whole what if thing.
Their best player got hurt midway through, and they weren't able to hold on. It was like the worst possible situation, and then in Game 4, it's a close game without your best player. I don't know what you're expecting. OKC was way better to begin with, and then the Grizzlies actually had a chance, and I wish that he hadn't got hurt, because it would have been really interesting to see, would there have been a similar meltdown and they hold off in Game 3, or would it have been they pour it on and then all of a sudden it's like, oh well, now the Grizzlies got a 50-point win. Didn't see that coming.
Maybe. The only thing is, I think I'm ready to push back a little bit on this. Are we sure Ja's the best player on this team? Because Scottie Pippen Jr. had a pretty good series in all of those Ja minutes. All right, and I'm not saying the ceiling's the same, but the team seemed like it was driving the same, right? They didn't go any faster or slower. There might have been, some job wildness for some of these runs here and there. But I mean, you're telling me that this Ja was going to come back in and he was going to be able to stop that 30-point run? Like that, I still think they give that up. I just think OKC was going to do that regardless if Ja was out there or not. They're just that much better in this team.
30 points? That's so many.
All right, yeah, but you guys couldn't do it. So Ja's a 30-point plus like that. That's what he's worth right now. He's missed a ton of time this year, and this team hasn't lost 30-point leads. I just don't think Ja's worth 30 points. Is what I'm saying. I don't think that's the difference here. This team is doomed with or without him.
I don't get it. Are you saying that Ja is the problem, or that
no Ja's not that good? Is what I'm saying.
Is he too good, or is he not good enough? It seems like you've gone both directions during this conversation.
He's not good. He's the same as Scottie Pippen Jr. I'm telling you. I think it would have happened the same thing. I just
how many points? How many points this year? Points per game did Scottie Pippen Jr. average this year?
Let's talk playoffs. That's the only games I'm counting right now.
Single digits.
What about the playoff games? He had like 2 30-point games. I think he had some really good shooting nights. Some nights he shot better than Ja. It's not like Ja's some like consistent shooter out here, and Ja's always hurt all the time.
I guess. I mean, if you want to go with Scottie Pippen Jr. over Ja, you go ahead and do that. But I don't think that's going to work in your favor with a tiny little sample size. And I like Scottie Pippen Jr. He played at Vanderbilt, and I watched him when he played Kentucky. And every time he played Kentucky, he would like rise to the occasion. Like he had no fear. Said, "All right, I'm playing against all these future NBA guys. Awesome, my time to shine. I'm going to be on national TV."
Yeah, we should have just talked about the Celtics for an hour. I can't believe this is going to be the best argument we have all day. It's going to be about Ja Morant and Scottie Pippen Jr. The 2 eliminated guys.
And I can't believe that you're on the Scottie Pippen Jr. side.
I guess I'm just tired of Ja, all right? The unlikable things have added up to me where it's starting to go against the basketball. Like, I can't unsee some certain things now.
He didn't play the last game and a half.
Zach, they weren't going to win this series. All right, I don't want to hear the what ifs.
That's fine, but it could have gone. I think the series could have gone longer.
That's fine. But
so what do you want? What do you want Memphis to do?
I don't want them to say they had him right where they want him. Right? They didn't. That's not
true.
When
did he say that?
Ja said that. I mean, they got eliminated after. He was like, if I'd stayed healthy, we had him right where we wanted them. Did he not say that? That was like his post game.
I missed that. But what do you want? What do you want a superstar to say? Oh no, we were for sure gonna lose. Yep. We're bad. No way I could have beaten them. These guys, that's their whole thing. That's how they're so good at this, is that they all have irrational confidence. That's like a classic thing for a guy to say. Like that's
all right. That's fine. You're
that's
right.
like, after the game saying like, oh yeah, no, coach did real well. I thought everyone played really hard. Hard defense.
Zach,
real
that's
focus.
All fine, but
like,
you still believe it. But you believe it is the thing. I don't believe it. Are you believing it? Because
I'm not saying that they were going to win. I said it could have been an interesting series. They were up 30 points when he got hurt.
All right, we don't need to give him any more time. It's fine. If you want to be in the job business, you be in the job business. We'll see where that leads over the next couple of years. All right, I could be completely wrong. All right, there's been some bad luck. There's been some unfortunate things, but this core that they have right now is not the future. There's not a big 3 here. They're in need of moves as well. And I'm not saying he's the piece that needs to move, but he might be the most value you got going out there. Anything else for the NBA?
Do you want to talk about the Cavs Heat series?
Not really, but we can. I didn't even write anything down. What did you want to talk about with this one? Like Cleveland's really good.
I mean, we talked about all the other series, so I'm assuming you're thinking that they're going to the Cavs will close this out tonight.
Yeah, I think so. I think Cleveland's looked really good. They have these wild lineups, that super big lineup where it's just like all these, like the redheaded shooter guy. Like there's weapons out there suddenly with just huge size. I don't know if they can do that against every team, but they're going to do it against Miami.
Any problems with what Garland said about Tyler Hero?
No. This is again where this is like media portraying NBA trash talk, where it's not going to translate to what happened on the court to what happens in the press and in the headlines. Aren't going to. They're not going to mirror the same, right? There's a little nuance to all of it, so it sounds different, I think, in post game than it probably is going on in the court there. But they're good players. They're allowed to say this to each other. I don't think it was anything like unqualified. And if they have an opinion, you got a problem with it, you go win the game, right? Just you want to shut the other guy up, you want to make him feel a certain way, win the game.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with it. It seems like it was legitimately the game plan of Yeah, we're gonna try to take it to Tyler Hero and the other guys that aren't good at guarding. I mean, I think that was probably Duncan Robinson, but I was surprised that Hero responded so kind of like aggressively, where it just seemed like, you know what, Garland can say what he wants. You know, we're just gonna go out there and play basketball because it didn't seem anything too crazy.
I'll tell you what. Before every pregame, every Heat game next year, before every single game, I will go ask the other teams, like, do you guys have any interest in attacking Tyler Hero tonight? And you know what they're gonna say?
Yeah, right.
Every single team's gonna be like, yeah, of course. Like, what are we supposed to go at Bam? I mean, do you want me to nitpick somebody else on this team? Like, there's some Heat culture over
Wait,
here.
there's a white wing over there. Yeah, we're gonna attack him on switches. Yep, I think that happens like across the league. That's the whole thing.
The other thing with it is that he's so important on the Miami offense, and I don't think it's talked about enough about attacking these guys and making them play defense. It just exhausts you. It just tires you out. It just puts you at another end where you're just not ready to do offense, or just exhausted from offense, or physicality, or you get fouls and you can't play as much. Like there's more than just you being a bad defender adding up to all of this as well. So there's a dependency on his offense, and Miami just doesn't have. They just don't have it this year. It's over, right?
Oh yeah, definitely over. I think the only silver lining for coming out of this is Davion Mitchell stepping up in the series.
Big games, and it's nice that he stepped up more for the playoff games. And I don't know if that'll translate to every regular season game, but guys that are capable of having these sort of games in these moments is valuable. Might not be for Miami next year, but for somebody, I could see him really making an impact in the playoffs for someone else in the near future. All right, anything else for the NBA?
I think that's enough basketball talk. Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to more basketball. The late games are trying to kill me, but I'm trying to stay up and see as many as I can.
I kind of like the 9:30 for the late game though. That like extra half hour really makes a difference for me. If it not starting at like 10:15 and starting at like 9:45 instead, I don't know. I think it makes
it is funny because it's only a half an hour, but a 9:30 is all right. I might do this where the 10 o'clock is just an auto. No way.
Yeah. Well, it's also that it's such a tease, and I don't know why I haven't trained my mind of like 10 o'clock start, not going to start for 15 minutes. Like, just say it in your mind, I should just look at it and see 10 and be 10:15. Like,
right?
I should just look at it, and I never do, and I always tune in and be like, all right, it's 10 now, this is going to start, don't worry, any second now, and then by the time it starts, I'm already asleep on the couch. It's the 15 minutes killed me of waiting for this. It's just too long. Exciting games, though. Do you think we'll have better series next round, or are you happy with the series we've had this round? I think they've been really good.
I think it's been exciting. I mean, I know it's easy to look at it and you always just remember the best from the past, but there was a game-winning dunk. Like that's amazing. You know, that's the first time that's ever happened in the playoffs. There's been, you know, overtimes. I think that it's been good, and I think sometimes it's just looked at of how many game sevens were there. But I agree with you that sometimes you get to a game seven, but you get 6 blowouts along the way, and it's like, all right, cool. There's a game 7, and you know maybe that's good, maybe that's not good. You know, we'll see when we get there. But you know, I'd much prefer a game, you know, a series only go 5, but if all 5 games are close, like that's better than blowouts in a game 7.
There's something weird in a game 7 where it's almost too intense and both teams are almost too tight and they've seen
so
each other
tight.
so
It's just
much.
a rock fight.
They know everything, that they've already seen everything, right? The magicians already figured out each other. They know the tricks. There's nothing left up the sleeves, and the 7 is just an ugly, ugly, ugly game that I kind of like these back and forth games where it's like we did this game, you change the lineup to the next game. Versus game 7, there's no more like moves left. It's just like whatever you got left, and it's just this ugly race to the finish. And I like these past couple games here. So we got some great teams left, some great players left. Let's talk a little bit about the NFL draft. Chalk, right? Just complete chalk. No surprises. This went exactly as everyone thought it would go. The Browns did something, and then they did something else later. The Jaguars did something bold and questionable, and the Pats had a perfect draft. That's just like textbook chalk, right?
I guess the first few picks were pretty chalk, but the trade right beforehand, that was a pretty big surprise. I feel like before Cam Ward had even gotten off the stage, it was this trade came in, and that's all anybody even wanted to talk about. And here's the the number 1 pick, and just almost forgotten about.
I do feel bad for him. It doesn't seem like he's the number one pick, and there isn't one storyline that feels like it's Cam Ward forward at all. We're worried about other quarterbacks at other positions, other trades, and other teams, and that the one was just like, yeah, we all agreed on that, but it's far more interesting to talk about the worst players, right? Like, we're not going to talk about the best guy.
It is interesting. Jaguars have a new GM, a new coach, and make this very bold move. They trade with the Browns. They trade up from 5 to 2, included a 36th, the 36th pick, as well as a 2026 first rounder. So they're able to get Travis Hunter, and just kind of like you're jumping in with both feet. If this works for you, like, you're going to be dining out on this for a long time. If Travis Hunter turns out to just be a mediocre wide receiver and a mediocre cornerback, and cool that he plays both ways, but is not elite at either, this is something that gets you fired and gets it so you never get hired again.
What if Trevor Lawrence isn't the guy, and that this has a lot to do with that, and that it's like, well, maybe we just need to find someone else, and that's a whole other thing. I say they should have did that in the draft, and that they should have moved on for all that. But when you make an all-in move like this, you're very attached to all the pieces you have, and one of the pieces you have at quarterback, the most important piece, is Trevor Lawrence. So I'm with you where this is kind of like a fireable offense here, but they might have, any move they made might have been a fireable offense. I think that this team's not in trouble. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is very good. They can make as many moves they want. They can draft whoever they wanted there. I don't think that's going to solve Trevor Lawrence.
I agree with you, and Lawrence has not lived up to expectations and was not good last year, but I do not think that this was the draft for a quarterback. I don't think even Cam Ward is particularly good. I think that last year there was a whole bunch of quarterbacks, and like, this is just it ebbs and flows. So I do not think that the quarterback was there, and so I think it might be, hey, this is the last effort for Lawrence, and they know better than me of maybe next year they're expecting a much bigger crop, or maybe they got a plan for a trade. But I think that for this draft, you couldn't be too concerned about the quarterback situation.
All right, main story of the day: Patriots. We love everybody we got. Our short arms guy. That seems like it's gonna be all right. He's willing to die for the team already. I love everything he's saying.
Yeah, how can you be mad about that? I texted you saying, with the 4th round pick, go with a offensive tackle. I hope we never hear his name again, because if you're an offensive tackle, the only time that you hear the name is if, especially as a blindside tackle, is if you mess up and Drake May gets absolutely creamed, and then they say, oh, Will Campbell really missed his block there. So if we never hear his name, perfect.
It does seem like with every move we had, we kind of inched a little bit closer to make everything easier and better for Drake May. I like that. That seems to make the most sense. Despite all of this, and despite me being actually happy with the Patriots draft for maybe the first time in my life, short of Tom Brady, which I can't even say they knew what they were doing that day. It just seemed to work out that way. But I think we're like one win better. Like, do you think suddenly, like, how much better are we? We're going to be in the draft next year. So this whole idea of having a good draft this year is great. I don't think we made mistakes, but we're like one win better than last year. I don't
based off this draft.
Yeah, I don't think we're like astronomically better this year. Do you?
Ah, sweet. That's like 3 wins. Vrabel's good for 1. Drake's good for a second one, and in the draft, that's 3. That's 3 more wins. I don't think we're going to be going to the Super Bowl, but I don't think we're going to be at the absolute bottom next year.
It wouldn't shock me if we had the 4th pick again next year.
You think we're going to be that bad?
I just
with Vrabel coming in, with Drake a second year. So what is going to go bad? Is Vrabel not going to be as advertised? Is Drake going to regress and kind of have a Mac Jones situation of rookie years? That's the best we're going to get from him, or is there an injury? Like, how are you foreseeing this going? Because I don't think we're making the playoffs. I don't have any illusions of grandeur, but I don't think that we're going to be in the, like, hey, if we lose in week 18 here, we can get the number 1 pick.
I think we overachieved last year, and that win last year really killed us. So like that, if you take that away, it's like, yeah, then we're like 2 wins better than. But we threw that one in, so like we overachieved last year. We'll like normal achieve this year, I guess, where it's just like this amateur expectation, and that's fine. It's a building year.
How about having a professional coach? How is that not going to be helpful? How about having a coach that when we're doing the podcast on Monday, I don't have to start it with, Did you hear what our coach said in the post-game interview? And you have to go, oh no, what happened this time?
Jesus, man, what do you put the pads on with you in the room? I feel like you're already pawned off to this guy. I mean, it's great. I love all of that, but I just don't think that's going to all happen in 1 year. Like, you think he's just going to walk in and this is immediately changed? Like,
I think that
how
having
many?
a real coach is going to help. Like I said, another year, Drake May got the rookie year out. He's going to have the whole offseason to work with the team. Be interested to see how, Stephon Diggs coming off of the injury, how far of a decline is that? Does he still have any of the juice to help Drake May out? I think our defense was solid, and I think we could, I don't even know if we really have to necessarily build off of that, but I think it's trending in the right direction.
We had 4 wins last year. I think we'll have 5 this year.
I think 5. Interesting. I think one of the things you have to remember too, a lot less games in football compared to the other sports. So the strength of your schedule can really impact things. Like this year, the Commanders, coming off of their atrocious season the year before, came in. They have one of the easier schedules. Us being one of the worst teams last year are going to have one of the easier schedules this year, despite having to play Josh Allen in Buffalo twice.
Yeah, I guess I could see a disaster between Miami and the Jets. That's very foreseeable, and maybe it won't be quite as.
Do the
messy.
Jets have a quarterback?
I don't know what's going on in this division.
Do the Dolphins have a quarterback?
Do the Steelers have a quarterback yet? I mean, this whole Aaron Rodgers wait is do these guys just want all the attention for this long? I don't know what we're doing here. I don't know what the Steelers are doing. I don't know why we're even indulging this guy. The other thing is they kind of have to because they just said no to everybody else already. There's nobody left. They said no to everybody.
You mean you're not confident in Mason Rudolph?
They were confident in telling guys goodbye. They weren't so welcoming of like, well, I guess we'll replace these guys. They just said, all right, that's fine. We're done here. It was a 1-year thing. Pack it up, moving on to the next thing. But they didn't find any next thing yet. It's insane to me that they're just going to go in and possibly get Rodgers at some point, which who knows that's even a sure thing and how many games he'll last. I normally respect the Steelers so much. I don't know what they're doing in this. This seems like a circus show of who's going to play quarterback today. We're just going to have tryouts in the back. Like somebody's going to walk in and just show up and play quarterback for this team. And they had all this offseason to do something about it. They did nothing.
They did draft national champion Will Howard.
You think he's going to play week 1?
No, I don't. But I mean, 6th-round pick. But I don't know. I don't know if is it a for sure thing that they're just waiting on Aaron Rodgers and that's what they're just gonna run out there. I don't know.
No, but I don't know what their other sure thing is either. That's definitely not a sure thing. I didn't want to make that sound like a sure thing. It's like bad sure thing, not sure thing 1, bad not sure thing 2. Like there's just not a good sure thing here. There's just bad option, bad option. Should we talk about Shedeur? I think we have to.
For sure.
He drops.
What a fall. Oh man.
I think we're all looking for explanations beyond football, and it might just be purely based on a football scale. On a not football scale, or at least on a personal choices, you want to say Dion and all that. I don't think you really get a choice on who your dad is, and it being Dion, it's Dion just being Dion. That wasn't fake. That's just who he's always going to be. So if that's somehow holding against this kid, it's unfortunate. But I don't know if you're Shedeur, what you're supposed to do about all that. Like I'm not supposed to not endorse this. This is football, and I'm not supposed to endorse Deion Sanders. That seems ridiculous to distance yourself from that sort of association. But I hope it's all purely just a football scale thing, that he just doesn't have that strong of an arm, doesn't have really the film to prove that he's the player that we evaluated him for. On the flip side of all that, I think the kid's really fucking tough, man. It's not like it was an easy route in Colorado. It's not like he was just getting, easy games and it was light highlights and that they abused all these bad teams. I think he had a pretty brutal schedule of them trying to overcome things that aren't easy to overcome. And then, I don't know, I would almost give him credit for surviving, I guess, in the league and all this, but you don't really get drafted off to that, do you?
I think it's interesting. When we did a little preview yesterday, I looked at a few mock drafts just to try to get a flavor for who the Patriots could be getting at 4. And one of them that I looked at had Shedeur at 3. I was like, okay, that's one guy's opinion. Maybe big Colorado fan, sure. But Vegas. So this is where people are putting their money. You in Vegas, you put your money where your mouth is. The over-under on the spot he was going to get drafted at was 21. He didn't go until 144. This was a huge miss by everybody. It's one thing, the sports media and all sorts of different biases, all sorts of different storylines, all of that. People people gambled their money and were wildly off on this. So I don't think this is like anybody's fault. I know there's a lot of people looking at it going, "Hey, you're Dion's son. Born with a silver spoon. Has all the attention, everything." And saying, "Hey, good," but I don't know. I don't know how you just have no sympathy. I feel bad for him. You thought you were going to first round pick. You don't go until the third day. So there was a whole live stream. So you're sitting there all Thursday night. Nope. Then you're sitting there all Friday, second round, third round. It's not until the fifth round. You just sat and had to just eat it for so long. It just had to be so difficult to just deal with that.
The prank call, some of the most distasteful joke I've ever heard of. I think it's one of the most rude, abuse of power things I've ever heard. Are you familiar with what I'm talking? I don't even want to drop names, but there's a son of
I think you should say the name
of a GM.
No. Defensive coordinator. It's
a staff member of a team. Sorry,
not a staff member, dude. A coordinator. Like that, like a staff member is like some, guy you've never heard of. It's like, no. It's the Falcons defensive coordinator, Jeff Ulbrich. He was the Jets interim coach before. And yeah, so the things with these draft picks, they get special phones for this game. So like the NFL teams like all have the specific number. And so I don't know how the son exactly got it, but he got it. He wasn't the one that actually made the call. It was him and a buddy. They filmed it because of course they did, because they're dumb teenagers, in college. But but I'm not going to go, too deep down to this and be like, this is like the worst thing that's ever happened and despicable and all this, but it's super dumb. Super dumb. You're in college. Shouldn't have done it. I don't think it's funny. I'm usually, not a huge fan of pranks in general, but I think that's more just me. But for it to be the defense coordinator's son, he's already come out with an apology. He has to be in so much trouble. I mean, the dad's going to be in trouble as must have left, the laptop open or, whatever, but just not a good look for the Falcons.
It was cruel. I felt bad. I thought it was cruel. I don't know any other way to say it. It was just cruel. This poor guy he's the best available on the board for 2 days in a row, like top of the screen, non-top talk, and then we got to have this sort of stuff piled on. It's just, it's so unnecessary. I didn't feel fair, and I don't think he needs to defend him or anything like that. It just, of all the stories to come out of the weekend, that one sucked. I didn't like that. He is going to Cleveland.
No one feels good about that one.
He is going to Cleveland. And I know you just want to get drafted at that point, but is there any part of you that's like, well, I waited 6 rounds and I still ended up in Cleveland?
I mean, if you're looking at it on just hey, could I get a chance to play? In Cleveland, he could get a chance to play. Who do they have? Who are they running out there that's so locked in?
Oh, there's Kenny Pickett.
I wonder, is it the best thing that could have happened for him? If you don't go in the first round, you have to wait. You have to wait the whole time, and now this just eats at you. And rather than, no, I'm good. I'm Dion's son. Yeah, I was successful. I already got my number retired in college. Like, I'm set. Oh no, I am not set. If I want this, I got to go out there and I got to take it. And shows up, ready to go, and wants a chance to actually play. And we're not that long ago from Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, the last pick in the draft, and he's playing. He's getting a big contract. He gets to run out there. It doesn't matter where you're drafted. There are elite guys. There's a whole bunch of mock draft guys that are saying, oh no, we know way better than the NFL GMs. They've messed this up for 50 years or whatever it is. There's a whole bunch of top guys, top quarterbacks, first round picks, first rounders that are out of the league very quickly. So just because you weren't drafted up at the top does not mean you can't be successful. We've seen that over and over again.
I love the take. It's a great take. I mean, he's a lot younger than Joe Flacco. He might be a lot better than Kenny Pickett, and he's a hell of a lot cheaper than whatever they ended up paying. Damn, Deshaun Watson. I've already locked him out of the name. He's not
another Achilles injury.
I want to remind everyone to subscribe. Little column A, little column B. You can follow us on Spotify, YouTube, and our Facebook page, as well as Zach's X account, which is
Wicked Z-Man 24.
You got 30 seconds. Anything you want to share with the people out there?
Oh, I'm loving the NBA playoffs. Continuing on into the it's getting nicer out. So yeah, like I said, just those late games, they're a struggle, but love those Saturday Sundays where there's 4 games just back to back, and loving it.
Yeah, games have been great. Can't wait for some more games. We'll have more Celtics talk when the games are actually important, right? I refuse to acknowledge Orlando. I had no feelings against this team, and now I have so many. It's like they really got under my skin.
Yep.
We'll be back.
Little column A, little column B.